welcome to the Beer Banters Football Podcast. This is your host Parva Pawar.
This is your other host Ritvik. And our today's agenda is the top 8 prediction from everyone here. The second would be the first manager to be sacked. And finally, who's their golden boot pick.
Start with the Liverpool fan, the champions, defending champions. Rohit, your top 8 prediction?
Hello, I'm Rohit. And for the 2021 season, the top 8 predictions for me are likewise. The champions would be Manchester City for me, followed by the runners-up Liverpool, then United, Chelsea, then it would be Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester and Sheffield. So this would be my top 8. No Spurs in the top 8. I would probably finish 9th or 10th is my prediction for Spurs.
And Everton?
And Everton probably 11 to 13 somewhat.
Just because of
despite James Rodriguez. No, not because of that. But despite James Rodriguez, I don't think he will have a direct impact in his first season, and I just can't see them in the top 10 this time.
And why do you think Liverpool can't defend their titles? Because of the no transfer activity still, or maybe the fatigue factor, or the no Anfield factor?
After the post-lockdown matches, I honestly felt that this team, the mentality, and probably the team has been overconfident in their games. And I was hoping that after during the Community Shield match, at least they will perform with the same intensity. And then I also was personally hoping for transfers, and seeing no activity in there, I was pretty disappointed. But being a Liverpool fan now and believing in Klopp, I know that that man has some vision in his mind for the team, and the mentality, the atmosphere that he creates in the team and maintains in the team is something different. So I believe in him that he can do the same thing with this team. Just the main problem that I feel is that there is no proper backup for our positions. And one big injury can literally ruin a couple of games for us. And the recent Premier League seasons have been such that even one loss can be very crucial. So I'm a little dicey about us being champions again.
But Liverpool do bolster a very good injury-less record, and as you may have seen, Klopp with no losses in team did pretty well at Dortmund. So don't you think he can emulate that?
Definitely. Touch wood, there hadn't been much injuries recently, but as you know, the defensive duties are totally dependent on Virgil van Dijk. And the games where he was poor in performance were the games we literally faced a lot of troubles. And as we have seen in many matches recently, that when the opposition parks the bus, when there are 8 players in their box, Liverpool can't simply break into their defense. We definitely lack a creative midfielder, and probably Alcantara would have solved that problem, but I don't see he coming to Liverpool.
You don't expect any new signings after Shimkas?
No,
so
I
that's
don't.
Probably 2 straight windows where you've not signed a proper first team footballer. So do you think, it's because of the owners?
Or is it
actually, the owners have pretty much explained this situation in one of the video recently published. That according to them, it's the decision between the owners and the club was such that the team's mentality right now is perfect, and they don't want anyone else to threaten the position right now. Also, Klopp believes that this team is sufficient to challenge for the title, or as he said, attack the title again instead of defending it. So, and despite that, Klopp said that obviously we don't have very rich owners. So during this pandemic situations, without the ticketing revenue and everything, he said that we don't want to, or we can't spend a hefty amount in this transfer window. So instead of going for some player very cheaply, he probably must be thinking something, or as we can wish as hashtag Mbappe 2020, but that probably won't happen. Let's see.
My last observation that I wanted to make was like we saw that, I mean, Liverpool's form was a bit dicey after the lockdown, and they were playing without the crowd. So do you think that it's a factor going into next season when you'll not be having the Anfield crowd with you?
Yeah, definitely. The Anfield atmosphere is obviously well known over the world, and that obviously will play a big part. But still, I personally feel that the post-lockdown was the players must be overconfident because everyone knew that it's just 2 games to win, and probably it was just a matter of overconfidence. I don't see Anfield crowd to be much of a problem. Obviously, it will be a impact, but I don't see that as the only problem right now. And I'm sure with Klopp's speech, or uh, I would like to point out something that the Captain Henderson and even James Milner. I just saw a couple of videos recently where during the training sessions, even in the pre-match, the way Milner and Henderson address the players as to we have to create our own atmosphere, we have to be our own Anfield. Like these two idols have been like the massive driving force for the team, and that is pretty important for us right now. So I don't see that much of a problem.
One more point, United above Chelsea despite the 8 new players.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea can do a lot. Basically, Chelsea have been signing so many new players, world-class players. So everyone has terrific expectations from them right now. But I highly doubt that with too many brilliant players, I don't think the synergy can match right away. And I don't think this season they can perform very well. So, and United have been brilliant lately. So with the Bruno impact. So I can put United above Chelsea.
Also,
Unfortunately, but yes.
I want to ask
Another
you
thought?
about a point. What do you think of the system? Because Klopp makes average players look good in that system. Even if no signings are made,
Exactly. So
I think they'll finish as the champions again.
exactly. So since the era of Klopp, there haven't been signings for world class players or scouting for world class players. Many a times, like Andy Robertson, even now the Costas Tsimikas, rarely knew about them or rarely had seen the gameplay. But now Robertson has turned out to be one of the best left backs in the world. So I totally believe that Klopp can probably I don't know what it does, the passion he puts in, the mentality he generates in the players, but definitely he's a player developer instead of he doesn't believe in buying big names and just utilizing them in the squad.
Just last point I wanted to ask. He did get 5 years because you had not won a title and you were progressing. Do you think he'll get same amount or more amount of time to win the next title, or do you see some
No,
rumble in
no,
the
I can predict that Klopp will definitely win another silverware in coming 2 years, like this season or the next season after that. So I don't think that he has to wait for another trophy. He will definitely move for another trophy right now.
Let's move to United. Karthik,
Okay,
your top
so
8 predictions.
my predictions are obviously the first will finish, Liverpool will finish first, and City will finish second because of the signings they made. Third will be United. Fourth will be Spurs because I think Mourinho has that second season syndrome where he, like, I don't know what he does, but he wins with such an average team. Uh, for fifth, I guess Chelsea will finish fifth, and sixth will be Arsenal.
seventh and eighth?
Okay, sorry. So Wolves and Everton. But I
So
don't have too
you
many
expect them?
expectations from Everton because although they signed James, I don't think he will impact too much.
Do you think last season? I mean, it was Pep still, I think so, has the best squad in the league, and he still somehow managed to finish 20 points behind Liverpool. How do you think he'll solve this problem? I mean, they're talking about, they have signed Ferran Torres and Nathan Ake. They're not really, the world-class signings that you talk.
Yeah, sir.
Plus that 20-point gap.
Yeah, if you see the games that they lost or drew, their main problems were their defense, which they bolstered, and they missed Aguero too much. That Jesus is definitely overrated.
I mean, why do you think Arsenal will finish below Spurs? I mean, we have seen Arteta making an impact. I mean, they have signed good players. Do
I,
you think,
I,
Mourinho's lost his mojo?
no, I don't think so,
Yeah,
because if you see United 17-18, that defense was too much. With Smalling and Jones, he finished second with that defense. And also Daya won the Golden Glove. So even though their Spurs defense was shit last season, he will definitely improve them. And that attack is too much. With Kane, Son
what
being
about
fit for the
their?
whole season, they can definitely finish in the top four.
But you might be missing the part. They are still in the Europa League qualifications, and we do know that Mourinho prefers a trophy over a good finish. So maybe they'll just drop out. What do you think?
Yeah, but if you see when United won the Europa League, uh, Mourinho focused on the Europa League when he knew that top four was not possible. He prefers the league games for the first. But if it is next to impossible, yeah, he prefers a trophy then.
Let's move to Sanad with his predictions.
So my top four predictions are, I'm gonna be a bit optimistic here, and I'm gonna say Chelsea. Uh, Chelsea's definitely gonna challenge for the title, if not win the title at least. So let me be realistic and give you a prediction. So probably Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Spurs, Wolves, Everton, and so on. I
No
think
United in
Chelsea's.
top eight.
You
No, I
skipped the
said
certain tricky Reds, right?
so. With United, I think they have a solid chance of finishing fifth, but nothing above that. No Champions League qualification again, is what I predict.
Again,
Even if, yeah, can you repeat your top eight predictions again?
So, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, um, Tottenham, United, Arsenal, Wolves, Everton.
Uh, of course, I mean, it is expected of Chelsea that they'll challenge for the title, but they've also signed 8 new first team players. So they'll definitely take some time to, blend in. And also they have, they're all new to the Premier League. I mean, only Chilwell has played previously in the Premier League. So there is that factor. Do you think it's too much of a risk at this stage? Signing 8 new players, 7 from a different
So,
league.
if you look at it, it's very similar to what happened to Chelsea last season, where Chelsea were not able to sign any new players and they relied on their academy players, which hadn't played for Chelsea for the longest time ever. So, it was again an inclusion of new team players. Though they were academy players, they haven't played in the first team. They haven't played with majority of the squad. They haven't played in the Premier League. They haven't felt that kind of pressure, that kind of quality in the league. So it's a similar situation as to what it was last year. But I think Lampard will do a good job. How he reacted with Pulisic earlier made him play a couple of games, then saw how he played, and then reintroduced him slowly. So rather than straight up playing Werner, Ziyech, Havertz, all of the stars in their first game, I think probably by match week 3 or 4, you'll start seeing them play more regularly than the players that played last year.
But last year, as you
I mean, I've given.
so can I mention?
Continue.
So
Yes.
basically, Frank saw what Ole treated Greenwood. Just throw him a bit for a couple of games.
I mean, well,
Tip her
to
to
be
the
very honest,
teacher.
I could say Ole probably did the same thing with Greenwood, right? Because Pulisic probably played a did more games in the start of the season before his unfortunate injury happened. So probably it's Ole who's replicating. I hadn't actually noticed this, Karthik,
But
but
Greenwood
as you
broke into the team
yeah,
last
he
year.
definitely broke into the team last year, but you're seeing the impact this year rather than what he played last year, right? No one talks about Greenwood playing last year. So people, how many goals has he racked up this season? Something in double digits is
Greenwood,
what.
18 goals.
Greenwood
Yeah,
actually
Yes,
18.
played 2
10 MPL.
games last season.
Yeah,
So it
exactly.
is big
So I
to
think it's
see.
Ole who's trying to replicate what Lampard did with Pulisic. I wouldn't say entirely that's the case. That's a completely different situation from the academy versus a player who's coming from a different country.
One thing I'd like to ask, last year Chelsea didn't have a problem producing chances and outscoring their opponent. It was the defense. So do you think they have bolstered their defense enough to actually challenge?
Definitely. I think Thiago Silva is good for another year at least, and he would be playing mostly with Rudiger. And you've got Ben Chilwell on the left. And Atspi has been good for us. He's also good in terms of crossing. Aspi's crossing is good. So on the right, we've got Aspi and James, and then we've got centre backs Rudiger, Silva, and then I think Ben Chilwell, once he's fully fit, will start playing games soon. Because I think Emerson is heading out in another week or two, if not to Inter, to some other team at least. So uh, it's either Alonso who would start the first couple of games, and then probably Chilwell when he's fit. And also, I'm sure you'll talk about Kepa, so let me just talk about it now. We are heavily linked to Mendy.
No, he's coming.
And I, yeah,
It's
Yeah,
so
almost
I
Thiago
would,
done.
is
it's almost done,
Here
almost
we
done.
go.
So
Don Fab has confirmed it.
to be very honest, I haven't watched a lot of his games, but whatever reel that I have watched so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
The goalkeeper.
I mean, there's this thing. I mean, you said about the defense, but it's not exactly about the quality of defense. The problem was not exactly about the quality of defense. It was also the defensive setup that Lampard played. Some of the games that I was watching, I mean, it was not exactly the individual that was lacking. But, the certain situations that they were thrown into, like the West Ham game, the counter attack at the last, or even the Bayern game. When Thiago had a free header in the box. So do you think, I mean, moreover, focusing on the defensive individuality, we should probably focus about the on the defensive setup.
I do agree with you, and what you said is 100% right. When a player like Thiago gets a free header in the team, we can say they're not tactically aware. They're not aware of the situations or the players that are around them while they're defending. Most prominently, you can see Rudiger making basic mistakes where he cannot clear the ball or he's in the wrong position at the wrong time. So more to do with tactical awareness is what I think needs to be done. And Lampard has played under some really nice defensive managers over time, so I'm sure he's drawing some inspiration from them.
But there's no CDM as such. Jorginho can't play there. Kante can't play there.
I mean, well,
And I've heard rumors Kante rumor going out. Is it true?
I think Kante was wanted by Antonio Conte at Inter, if I'm not wrong. But I think that rumor has been squashed on. So Kante's going to stay for another year at least. Well, we had Matic, but you fuckers stole Matic from us. So what can we don't have the
You
perfect
replaced him
Matic.
with God Bakayoko.
Yeah, we did bet at $35 million on Bakayoko, but it hasn't done any good to us so far.
You're still getting 35 million for him again.
Yeah, I think AC Milan's ready to pay that sum.
What do you think will be the Chelsea midfield three going into the season? I mean, the starting midfield three.
I think Havertz won't be playing the first game. I think it would be Mount who would probably play.
No, I'm seeing over the season. Who do you expect to play the majority of the games?
Once Pulisic is fit as well, right?
Yeah,
that's
when
what they say.
All the
you have the
members
freedom to choose from all the players.
So I think
What's your
Pulisic on the left. You've got Havertz in the center, and then probably Ziyech floating on the right. And I think Kovacic would probably get a lot of starts. Kovacic, Kante, and the third player would probably be rotating with some center midfielder.
Do you expect a double pivot or a 4-3-3?
Ideally, I'd like to see a 4-3-3 because that's the kind of football I enjoyed Chelsea play 3 seasons ago when Conte played at Chelsea.
Also,
Let's
Okay,
move
so
to.
let's
also,
move on to
okay, can I?
Okay, you had a question.
Okay, so
Yeah, continue.
Chelsea signed 8 players. What about the Frankie's trade link now? What will happen to
Sorry.
Tomori?
Okay, to addressing about all the youth players, I think they pretty much knew the situation was going to happen last year, where Chelsea was under a ban, and I don't think they were looking too much into the future. Players like Tomori are still young, and they can go out on loan and benefit. We're seeing even players like Ethan and Padu go out on loan at Sheffield, and stuff like that is just going to improve their game, I feel like.
But I mean, it's always about Chelsea not promoting their youth talent, and we have seen over the years. But you have already you have got a really good player in Mason Mount. So do you think the signing of Havertz will potentially hamper his development? I mean, he's not going to get regular minutes in the league at least. If you want to play a realistic midfield three, where does Mount fit in?
So what you're saying is 100% right. Mount will definitely have to challenge for his position in the training, and probably to go against Havertz is going to be a huge task for him. Till the point at least Havertz is settled. I think once Havertz is settled, he'll regularly play, but till that point at least Mount will get his chances. But I'm not sure what will happen to the futures of Mount because they need to be playing regularly. And I do agree with you.
Let's then go to Mihir. Your
No,
top 8 prediction.
For my predictions for the Premier League season, I am going for Liverpool to retain their title. Second place, I am going to say that United will finish second with Sancho coming in. Third place will be Chelsea. Fourth place will be Man City with Pep Guardiola getting the sack. Fifth place will be Arsenal. Sixth will be Spurs. Seventh will be Wolves. And eighth will be Leicester City. Yeah, a big deal with Pep getting sacked.
I mean, do you think Liverpool will be able to? I mean, they have not made any new signings, and with probably a squad low on motivation, do you think they'll be probably defend their title again
Yeah,
with these
like
problems?
even if last season they had injuries to Allison and maybe an injury to one of their top three for a long time, still they finished 30 odd points ahead of Man City in second place. So I don't think it will matter much with Klopp's system and with Salah or Mane bagging in 20 goals a season and a good defense in Van Dijk, a good solid defender in Van Dijk.
Definitely have a strange panel. We have a Liverpool fan defending United to finish above Chelsea, and we have a United fan trying to say Liverpool will defend the title.
two United fans.
Ritvik, your question.
Fact.
Yeah.
yeah, to United fans, right? But talking about
Ritvik,
City, why do you think they will trail off that much? Don't you think that they'll try
Like
to react to the last season?
last season, City finished second with 21 odd points behind Liverpool. This season, they have signed and Ferran Torres. They have also lost the leader in David Silva.
आवाज
And last season,
Come. Read that.
Video freeze झाला
आवाज
तुझा.
कट होतोय का?
परत बोल मीर.
hello. Season have lost a great leader in David Silva. So the big question is who is going to be the big leader on field. You can say Fernandinho, but last season we know how they fared without company, and his loss was a big deal. And they also have a tough schedule starting the season. If they have a bad start, you never know. With the board spending so much, and last season they also bottled the quarter final of the UCL, so might be the pressure might be on Pep Guardiola to deliver. So you never know with Man City owners, they might sack him with the amount of investment they have made into this project, and the project being tailed off like this.
The only thing with Pep is, I mean, even if you sack Pep, who's available and who's going to replace the Pep Guardiola? That's the only thing. I mean, and he also has a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but like David Moyes had a 6-year contract and was sacked in a year.
he didn't finish in the Champions League. You're predicting them to, I mean,
Yeah,
the
like their team
last
is like
season, I think, yeah,
their team should win the league or at least be competing for the league. But with no leaders and maybe if they go 1 or 2 goals down with like Aguero being out for so long and Jesus missed lots of chances last season, I can see that being a big problem for them, especially with Leroy Sané also leaving.
I mean, I've seen everyone. I like to hear everyone's opinion on this. Everyone has actually predicted Everton to finish outside top eight. I mean, despite the signings they have, I mean, they have potentially a top six midfield. Why do you guys think? I mean, Everton will struggle in the league again?
Their defense is not that top six level yet. Michael Keane is not top six level. Jordan Pickford makes too many mistakes. And who's their defenders?
So
Digne is good.
Yeah,
also
Digne is good.
also every season West Ham and Everton make youth signings and they fail. I don't know why, but they fail.
Yeah.
Even if
Let's
the manager is
any
legendary, he still has to experiment with the squad.
Yeah,
Huh.
I mean, the last time they had these signings, they didn't have Carlo Ancelotti. So definitely this time, this change is going to, have an impact on the Premier League. Definitely, we'll have a more interesting league next season. I don't think so. There will be a 33-point gap between any team at the top, at least. Let's move to
Hopefully.
Shlok. Hopefully. Let's move to Shlok. Your top 8 predictions.
First of all, I'll test the mic. 1, 2, 3 mic testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So my predictions will be like I'll say Liverpool will defend the title. So Liverpool will be the champions, and I'll defend that. And then Chelsea. Then comes Manchester City. Then Spurs, and for obvious reasons. Then Arsenal. Then Manchester United. then Everton, and then Wolves.
So you expect Spurs to finish
So it's
above Arsenal?
controversial, I know.
Yeah. And we definitely have a strange final.
Yes, I've seen.
Yeah.
Now I'm being realistic. Like it's Mourinho, and we know how he like molds his squad after the first season. I guess, and he did a decent signing. I guess in January they'll pump up the transfers.
I mean, I think so. Arsenal can still have, they can get one more midfielder. There will be
Actually,
four solid signings.
if you get both the midfielders we want, we can go for the top four. But right now at this situation, I can go for one creative mid, and like not. I guess Partey won't come as a CDM, so I guess Oyer will come. Hopefully.
Do you expect
I think
Ozil to be
that is a good enough team to
part of it
to
as
be
the creative
challenging for.
midfielder?
Can you pardon?
Wait a minute, me also.
Uh-huh.
I mean, even if you get
Good enough
one more
team, but
midfielder
our
in,
centre backs have to yet form up.
audio problem.
Actually, Arteta can play well with the back four, like we have seen it against United, like the 2-0 win. But still, the partnership has to be like established. So we are nowhere near that.
Yeah, but I mean, you said about Arsenal finishing sixth. You have a definitely have a very good attack. If you bolster up the midfield,
Actually, let's see. As far the situation goes, I see it like this, and we have a lot of competitions to play, like Chelsea. I have given a second, as they have a lot of depth and they can play a variety of competitions. They'll need time to like find a right squad for each of the competitions. But at the end of the day, I guess they'll do it. And
yeah.
And
Let's
why do you think United finishes out of the top four?
I was just observing how they played post lockdown. Like the attack was good, but I did not feel that the defense was still slow. Like the matches I watched, I just felt like that. Arsenal was like not like to the mark too, but still, I felt like it might be they need to
do something extraordinary. They have a good squad, so they can do it, but I don't feel like they'll.
So is that
Because they have a
even with
Your thoughts
Champions
on it?
League.
okay? So do you consider this even with Sancho coming?
Sancho, how is the situation? Like I have not followed it. Is he coming or not? If he comes,
It
they can finish top four, 4-2.
Personal terms are agreed, and the fee is left. 20 million is the difference.
Okay. I just gave the predictions for the game week 1, like without any signings made. Or minimal signing, like the one who is coming. So, but still, I don't feel like United might go for the, like, they have a Champions League to play and they have a lot of competitions. And we have seen how they kind of struggle to find the balance.
Agenda will be giving our picks for the managers that we think will be sacked. So we'll divide this into two parts. One manager from the top six, and one manager from the bottom half of the table. So let's start with Rohit. Your two managers.
From the top six, I think that Pep will be sacked, but not in the near future, but towards the end of the season, because he is under tremendous pressure right now, and with the amount of money he spent, the owners must be expecting him to win the Prem as well as to at least go to the semis of the Champions League, which City has been struggling forever. And from the rest of the teams, I probably think it would be David Moyes, because he already has just survived the relegation battle, and probably if the owners think the situation this season is likewise, he is under a lot of threat right now.
Yeah. Let's move to Karthik.
Yeah, okay. So Frank Lampard will be the first to be sacked among the top six. And from the rest, because again, they made 8 signings. And there's a saying, too much cook spoil the broth. So I don't think they will be starting heavily, these Werner and Ziyech. And from the rest of the team, I think Fulham's manager will be sacked because it's the same story again. They spend heavy, and the players do not generally work.
Let's move to Sanat.
Sanat?
I think the first manager to be sacked from the top six is going to be Ole.
Wait a minute. Let me guess. Ole gonna solve that?
You got it right.
Yeah.
It's according to me, it's going to be Ole. I don't think even if it doesn't matter whether Sancho's going to come in or not. Though I regard Sancho as one of the really good players up there, no doubts about that. We've got Donny van de Beek, who's again a good player, but United somehow still doesn't have it, according to me, to challenge for the title or to work towards the aspirations of the fans, the boards, and everyone in whoever's associated with United. And from the relegation zone, I think it's going to be Slaven Bilic from West Brom. West Brom as a team has struggled time and again. We've seen that. Really good defensively, though that's how they used to play under Tony Pulis, at least back in the Premier League. And everyone remembered West Ham to have really good defensive tactics. But Bilic doesn't play like that. And it's a whole another game from the Championship. With not enough players coming in, I don't think West Brom's going to survive the Premier League this season.
Said that we are not here to challenge top four, challenging the title is our goal. Do you think that if they are a bit off the top four, do you think that there's a realistic chance he could be sacked? Just not an agenda here, but just an honest opinion from you.
Yeah, we've always seen that at Chelsea where you need some kind of silverware, otherwise you get the boot. Generally, be it Mourinho, be it Conte, be it Ancelotti, the world's top managers, they definitely need to perform time and again. But I think the Roman does understand at this point Chelsea needs someone long term in order to get a nice rebuild and not to rebuild for the last 7 years. I'm sure Roman doesn't want to do that. So he probably wants someone who's stable and someone who's very close to the Chelsea system as well. You've got Jody Morris with him, who's been uh, coaching the under 21s, under 18s, and you've got Petacek back at the club. You've got Curicini as the goalkeeping um, coach. So I think it's going to make a good combination for a couple of more years. But as you said, there is still a possibility. Roman's quite curt and Chelsea's quite curt in the kind of business they do. So there's always a possibility as a Chelsea fan. But I guess it'll break every Chelsea fan's heart to see Lampard get sacked.
Okay, I just want to ask Sanat. So Ole survived with Lingard and Pereira in the midfield last season. Why do you think he won't survive with Van de Beek, Pogba, and Bruno?
Well, so as United have also stepped up their game in terms of midfield and in defense, I think they still lack though they've stepped up in midfield. Harry Maguire is not always performing what he's supposed to do. You are seeing De Gea on the downfall as well. Your left backs and right backs sometimes perform, sometimes don't. Though I would say Wan Bissaka is playing really well, but he's not there all the time, 100% of the games, as you all know as well. So as everyone's stepping up their game, it's going to be difficult for United to be there. Last year, Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal went through a very rough period, you could say, especially Arsenal and Tottenham, who had managerial changes midway through the season. So it's definitely going to be more competition because you've got Mourinho, who's going to be there for the second season, and he's got pre-season now, which is a very important part of his routine or any manager's routine, and even Arteta, who's got like a long pre-season now. So they're going to step up. Chelsea's going to step up. So it's just going to get even harder for United to do so. You've already got Liverpool and City at the top.
We'll see.
Let's move to Shloka, your two managers.
For me, the top 6 manager would be Mourinho. Like they will probably expect a trophy from him. They're moving to a new stadium, and like last season they finished above Arsenal, but we ended up with silverware. So they barely qualified for Europa. So I guess if there's no UCL qualification, he'll be sacked for sure. And you know how like it's the second season, so it actually like the record is not like that. The third one is the the main thing, but still I guess he'll be sacked at the end.
Finally,
Very end,
an
like,
Arsenal fan predicting something against Tottenham.
And
I hate more. I don't. Okay, I'm not biased. It's just the way things are. So, and the bottom half, I think Dean Smith will be the one, the Aston Villa manager. Like he has taken them to levels, but still they need a change of scenery. Like they can't like just continue with him. So he's like did good in,
I mean,
but still.
Mir, your two manager picks.
The top 6, as I said in the league table predictions, Pep Guardiola will be the first one to be sacked among the top 6 managers. He will be sacked around March or something after exiting UCL. In the bottom 3, I'll say Dean Smith because last season he signed 3 attackers that were his choice and still barely survived relegation. And one injury to Jack Grealish and they are gone.
And Watkins,
Okay,
you don't think he'll have a good...
So Mir, do you mean
As
an
far as I know,
injury?
you were a Watkins fan.
Watkins, like Watkins can be good, but there are many championship strikers that have been good in the championship but struggled in the PL. So I can't really say from that, but hopefully he becomes good.
Also, Mir, do you wanted to say that injury to Grealish or a transfer?
Someone signing him.
Yeah, like I don't think Grealish will leave if Villa stay up. Only if Villa get relegated, he might be sold because Villa owners are kind of mega rich. Like they can provide him the wages. It's not like some small club. Like you can relate the Grealish situation to Wilfred Zaha, like how he was forced to stay at Zaha, he was forced to stay at Palace.
Thinking game week 1. Yes, FPL
Okay.
buddies, shout out.
Guys, if follow FPL buddies, paid promotion.
Hey,
Let's move on to our final agenda, the Golden Boot. I'd ask you to give your top three scorers, as pointing out a single one would be hard. Let's start from Shlok, the previous Golden Boot winner, Aubameyang being your favorite player. What do you think?
I guess he can be the golden boot this time because like our entire plays right now is dependent on him till like we get a creative mid. We can try out different formations, even play him up front. So I guess he'll be the golden boot this time. And last time he just missed it. Like he missed a lot of chances in the last game, or he could have been he could have overtaken the other guys. So I guess he'll do it this time. And if it is, I guess, but the contract is also kind of, I guess it is 99% done. The wages are a bit too high, but still we have to do it. We need to keep the man.
who do you expect to finish second in the race?
In the second in the race, I expect Mo Salah, as Klopp will like Klopp knows there's something wrong like going on, so he'll like divert to his original tactics, kind of modify them, make the game more narrow or suited for his like the top finisher in his squad. And I guess Salah will be given a more priority by Klopp. So I guess there's somewhere I think Salah can be even the top scorer, but I guess he'll score a lot of goals.
And the third.
And your third?
pick?
Our third pick पण आहे का? Okay, for third pick, it's a wild guess. It might be Timo Werner. I've seen that guy, but he's still new to the league, so starts अवघड आहे. But he's a prolific kind of player. Like he can do well in this league, and he can like score from anywhere. So
Yeah.
his pace, like
So
we need pace in the EPL. The pace is the game, and we have a lot of slow defenses too out there. I don't want to mention them. So,
yeah, you already mentioned it. So speaking about Timo, Anat, who do you think your top three could be?
For me, I think it's going to be Harry Kane, Auba, and then probably Werner. More the strikers who are the teams that are dependent upon single strikers, I think, end up getting more goals. So that's why I say Kane as my number one choice.
Fair enough. Mihir, your top three pick?
First will be Auba. Second will be Tony Marshall from Man United. Third will be Werner. Put my neck out and I'll say Tony Marshall will have a good season.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's move to
Rohit,
Karthik.
what about you?
Rohit?
For me, it'll be I can't rank anyone out of the three, but it has to be Auba, Salah, and Mane. Probably, I think, Auba will win the boot with Salah and Mane trailing.
And finally, Karthik.
Yes, so I think Auba will
Better
finish
say
as the.
Tony at first.
Sorry?
Better say Tony at first.
No. I want to say, but I don't think he will. So I think Auba will finish as the Golden Boot winner. And second will be Tony Marshall. And third will be Harry Kane.
But given the number of pens United have got, I think Bruno has a good shout.
But there's a lot mix up between Rashford and Marcel.
No.
So both can finish. And if you say... No, if it depends on penalties, Bruno is the Golden Boot winner.
Okay, so with this, I think we have covered all our agendas, and it's been a pretty good, healthy discussion. The banter is also there, and of course, the Ole Lampard jury being out on either one of those. And so, thank you everyone for joining us at this late at almost 12 years. So finally, I'd like to say the cliche: please like, share, comment on our video, and if you're new, subscribe as well. Thank you.